In today's video, we're going to look at elasticity of demand, which builds off of what we learned yesterday with the law of demand. Now, the law of demand simply states that if the price of something goes down, the quantity demanded goes up. Or, to put things more into English, as the price of a good goes down, as something becomes cheaper, we are more likely to buy it, and we're going to buy more of that good. As the price goes up, as things become more expensive, we are less likely to buy it. The quantity demanded goes down. And so as a result, the demand curve slopes downward. But the big question we have to ask is, how much does the demand curve slope downward? How much does that change in price affect the change in quantity demanded? Now, the elasticity formula is listed there. That's not something I'm going to have you do in this course because it's just beyond the scope of the course. But it's the percentage change in quantity demanded divided by the percentage change in price. If demand is inelastic, basically what we see is that the change in price does not change the quantity demanded that much. It still changes it, but it doesn't change it that much. And so think about medicine, for example. The price of a good, might go up. Let's say the price of a life-saving medicine doubles. Let's say it goes from $2 a pill to $4 a pill. And so the price doubles. So we've got a 100% change in price. But with that change, let's say that at $2 we sold 100 pills. But at $4, there are now 90 pills being demanded. Okay, so the percentage change in quantity demanded is only 10% because we went from 100 pills to 90 pills, but the percent change in price was 100. So we're going to say that this is inelastic. The big change in price did not change the quantity demanded that much. It caused a small change. It did still cause a change. Okay, and this is where people get in trouble with understanding elasticity and understanding just the law of demand in general. It did cause a change, but it caused a small change. And so we can say that the quantity demanded did not change because of a change in price. And so think about things that are inelastic. The wall, the whiteboard in the classroom, the desk that you hopefully are sitting at, whether it's in the classroom or at home. If you pound that wall or pound that desk, and I'm not asking you to try this, it's not going to change, right? It's going to, it may move just a little bit, but it's not going to move that much. It may move a millimeter or two, but it's not going to move that much, and it's going to go right back into its original shape. It's not going to change that much. And so when we say demand is inelastic, it's not going to change that much, even though there's a pretty significant change in price. And so because of that, the demand curve is steep. And so because the change in price, you have a big change in price, but a small change in quantity demanded. When demand is elastic, that means that changing the price can lead to a large change in quantity demanded. Here you see this very flat demand curve because we see a very small change in price. Say we go from here to here on price, very small change, but look how much the quantity demanded changes. And the reason for that we'll get to on the next slide, but think about elastic like a rubber band or a waistband. When you wrap that rubber band around something, it changes its shape very easily to mold to whatever it's holding. And then when you take the rubber band off, it changes its shape again. So it changes based on the conditions that's presented. Elastic demand changes based on the conditions of price. A small change in price is going to lead to a big change in the quantity demanded for a good. So you have a flatter demand curve. And so unit elasticity, by the way, is a 1-to-1 ratio. You've got a perfect 45-degree slope on the demand curve because there's a equivalent change between price and quantity demanded. So we don't look at unit elasticity too much because that's more of a theoretical concept. So what determines elasticity? There's basically three ways we can look at elasticity. One of them is asking the three questions. Why is something elastic or not? Number one, can the purchase be delayed? Or in some cases, does the purchase even have to be made at all? And so things that can be delayed generally are elastic because you don't have to buy them now. So for example, like if I need to buy a television, I probably don't need a TV right now unless the previous one broke. Most of us aren't out there buying TVs just because we absolutely have to have a TV right this second. Most of us are buying TVs because, well, we're remodeling, we want to upgrade. Maybe we've got a room that we don't have one in, but we'd like to have one for that room, or whatever you want, one for the kids' rooms or a den or something like that. So you don't have to have it. A vacation, you don't have to have a vacation. And even if you're going on one, you can delay it. You don't have to do it right now. And so even, you may want a television, but you don't have to buy one right now. So if you can delay the purchase until it becomes cheaper, we say the demand is elastic. If you can't delay the purchase, you have to have it right now, like medicine. Look, you need this medicine to keep you feeling good. You have to have it right now. You can't delay it. So you pretty much have to take whatever the price is. And so we say that good is inelastic. So if you answer yes, the good is elastic. If you answer no, it's inelastic. Are there adequate substitutes? For example, here in New Pal, there's really not many adequate substitutes for driving because we don't have public transportation. And unless you live in town, there's really nothing that is within walking distance. And so there's really not adequate substitutes. So you could say that gasoline is inelastic in New Pal because there aren't really any substitutes for it. But if we had the option of riding the bus, or you had the option of walking rather than driving, now there are substitutes. Or let's say that we had a new gas station open up across the street from one of the two gas stations we have. Now there are substitutes. Now you have a choice between which gas station you go to, and that makes the good more elastic. So if there are substitutes, if you have choices, the good is elastic. If you really don't have substitutes, you don't have choices, the demand is inelastic. And then the third thing is it expensive? The more expensive something is, the more likely you are to think long and hard about the purchase. And so a price increase, say, of a bag of salt at the grocery store from $2 to $2.20 is probably not going to affect the quantity demanded for a bag of salt at the grocery store that much. You may go from 150 bags sold a week to 145, but that 20-cent price increase is probably not going to change the quantity demanded very much because most people aren't really price shopping $2 bags of salt. However, if the price of a television goes from $350 to $500, now suddenly you are much less likely to buy it because it's more expensive. You're going to scrutinize a more expensive purchase. You're going to think about that a lot harder. You're going to price shop a little bit more. You're going to look for the cheapest option. And so in general, if you answer yes to two of those questions, the good is definitely elastic. If you answer yes to one of them, it's probably elastic. But if you answer no to at least two of those questions, you can determine if the good is inelastic. Another way to do so is the total revenue test. Think about it this way. If I lower the price and make more money, my demand is elastic. And so go back to the soda machine example. At 50 cents, let's say they sold 50 cans a day. So they made $25, okay? 50 times 0.5, 50 cents is 25. So they sold 50 cans at 50 cents a day, $25 is how much revenue they made. Revenue is how much money you make from selling something. They raised the price to $1. They're selling 10 cans a day. They're making $10 off of those 10 cans. So raising the price caused their revenue to go down. They raised the price from 50 cents to $1, but the revenue went down from $25 to $10. So the demand, we say, is elastic because raising the price caused them to make less money. And so And there's a supplemental video I'll show you where the moderator, Mr. Clifford, kind of does this thing with his hands where you can put your hands up and down. If the price goes up and the revenue goes down, it's elastic. Same thing on the opposite end. If the price goes down and the revenue goes up, it's also elastic. So let's say that Burger King puts a burger on sale that was $2. Now the Whopper's $1. Well, if they were selling 100 Whoppers a day at $2, they were making $200. They lower the price to $1, and now they're selling 500 Whoppers a day. Now they're making $500. So lowering the price increased the revenue by $300. So lower price goes down, revenue goes up. It's elastic. If the price and revenue both go up or both go down because of a change in price, then we say the good is inelastic. So for example, let's say we had a medicine we sold for $1 a pill, and we sell 200 of those a day. Okay, so we make $200 selling this medicine each day. The price gets raised to $2. Well, the quantity demanded is now 90. Okay, so we were selling 200 pills. The quantity demanded is now, let's say, 190. Okay, so at $2 at 190, you're making $380 now. So raising the price from $1 to $2 raised your revenue from 200 to 380. So price goes up, revenue goes up. The good is inelastic because the change in price did not change behavior very much. And so this is important to understand because the one thing you'll see is generally the prices of elastic goods over time tend to go down. The prices of inelastic goods over time tend to go up because there is less pressure to keep the price low because more people are going to just pay the price that is given. Now, that doesn't mean that all demand goes away when the price goes up if a good's elastic, or the demand doesn't go away if it's inelastic. Think about it like a dimmer. It's not a light switch. With a light switch, it's on or off. If the price goes up, then all the demand goes away. No, that doesn't work that way. It's a dimmer. The price goes up, some of the quantity demanded goes away, but not all of it. So it's just how much do we dim the light switch? How much quantity demanded goes away when the price goes up? So, and we can also use the elasticity formula. If it's greater than 1, the percent change in quantity demanded divided by the percent change in price is greater than 1, it's elastic. If it's less than 1, it's inelastic. And if it equals 1, it's unit elastic. This is a fundamental concept in economics because I know if I have a product with elastic demand, it's going to hurt my business if I raise my price. If I have a product with inelastic demand, really doesn't quite matter as much what the prices are, so I don't have as much pressure to keep my prices low. Now, that said, if I have a product with inelastic demand and I keep my prices high, what will likely happen is that high price will entice more people to come into the market. Now you have substitutes. That makes the demand elastic and puts downward pressure on prices. Let's say that the price of gas in New Pal went up to $2.50 or $3 a gallon. Well, that would tell other gas stations, hey, look, people are willing to pay bank to buy gas in New Pal, and they bring gas stations here, which would, of course, put the price back down, and because we would go to the cheapest station. So understand that elasticity is really important. In general, most goods are elastic because there are adequate substitutes or because the purchases can be delayed, and as a result of that, that pushes downward pressure on prices. So our next video, we will look at changes in demand, which is a difference than the change in quantity demanded. So it's a little semantic difference, but it's a big difference in terms of the economics of it. So that's a key thing to understand. Thanks for watching.